And with me today, I have Angie Anand, who is a trauma-informed somatic breathwork and shamanic bodywork facilitator with over 15 years of experience helping women return to themselves. Her journey began in the fast-paced world of corporate life, where she quietly battled burnout, imposter syndrome, and a deep sense of disconnection. Through the later years in her life, she found the creative expression as a successful hair and makeup artist, empowering women from the outside in. She still longed for a deeper, more lasting inner peace. That longing led her to the healing path of conscious, connected breathwork and shamanic bodywork. And today, Angie offers deeply nurturing spaces for women facing emotional overwhelm, self doubt, nervous system dysregulation, and life's many transitions, whether through one-to-one sessions, transformative retreats, or corporate well-being workshops. Her approach blends grounded somatic techniques with soulful spiritual guidance, always anchored in compassion. Welcome to the show, Angie. Such a pleasure to have you here. I could literally go on there, but I'll leave the rest for you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Lovely to see you again.
Amazing. Yeah. So me and Angie go way back. And it was only recently that I actually tried one of her amazing breathwork sessions, and it was a life transforming. I've never ever felt so deep and relaxed in a breathwork session because Angie just you gave that space for me to just really relax. It was absolutely amazing. And this is why I invited Angie on because the magic that she has to be shared with more people, I believe.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. It's really, really true. I think more people would benefit from, practicing some breath work. It
I
is,
believe so.
yeah.
I mean, people say, well, it's just breathing. Yeah, we are breathing. But what would you say is the main difference?
We're breathing deeper. So we're basically using a pattern which is three parts to connect to our nervous system, connect to the emotions, to the trauma that we store in our fascia.
Mm,
Um, so we all had the experiences where we have like these fight or flight moments
mm,
in our lives. And every time we have a fight or flight situation, our body gets tense. I mean, we all have it. Just even when we're a little bit anxious, our body starts to get tense. And what that is just a buildup of all these emotions, all this energy that sits stagnant in the body. It doesn't know how to come out because we're kind of in this, you know, fight or flight situation. And what we do with the breath is that we're actually tapping into that and we're releasing it. We're seeing it, we're feeling it, we're kind of allowing the breath to kind of really go deep into those parts and release that from our body because subconsciously we accumulate so much over the years that it starts to hindrance how we show up.
mm,
And with this breath work, when breaking down the layers, and I think we mentioned it briefly when we before we started that, when you do one breath work session, you've just like cracked open the shell. Now it's time to go deeper and deeper. And with each breath that you take, you go more and more inside of your own body, more inside of your own tissues, and just kind of say, right, it's time to free them. Let's breathe it out.
Love that. Love that. Amazing. Thank you so much for explaining that for those who may have not come across breath work before. I think that's a fantastic explanation. So, Angie, it would be fantastic for you to talk more about your own journey into this work. The fact that you've come from the corporate world, which is what probably majority of the world is still in. So, what was your breaking point or awakening even that actually led you towards this journey?
I mean, so my sister Pam's from the Full Seven, and she'd been on a spiritual path for a very, very long time. And I kind of used to dip in and dip out, but not be as committed to it as much as like as my sisters. My older sister Anita, she does similar work. Um, but I always was kind of caught in this. I'm a British Londoner. I need to make loads of money. I need to have a high flying role. I need to kind of have the best designer gear, all this kind of superficial stuff that was me searching for fulfillment. Um, and actually witnessing my sisters, being fulfilled from a spiritual path, but knowing that that wasn't who I was. I wanted to be one of those kind of women out there, giving it, living the large, you know? And I remember in the last job, you know, if even if I start before the jobs, like one job that stood out a lot for me was I was a bid manager for a company. And I remember I was 3 months into the contract and they were interviewing another woman for a role and she was having an interview right at the front, you know, like in the main office. And when they interviewed her, on my table were a couple of men and they were kind of having this little, you know, as they do chat. And I was like, I think that's kind of really out of order what you guys are saying. They were like, well, you wanted to know what we said about you. And I was like, oh, interesting. What did you say? And they were like, well, why did you think you get the job? And I'm like, okay. So I challenged that because I didn't think it was okay. And I challenged it because the director who I was working for was a little bit sleazy as well. You know what I mean? It didn't feel very comfortable. So I challenged it. I went to HR and I was like, you know, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I've just witnessed. I don't think it's okay. Was that a good thing to do or a bad thing at the time? I was like, coming in my power, it was a good thing to do. But, you know, HR spoke to the director and the director then, you know, couldn't say anything directly to me. So what he started doing was criticizing every piece of work I submitted. And it got to a point where I actually got my oldest sister who's done a master's, right? You know, and I was like, can't criticize her English, you know, she's good. Got her to rewrite one of my bids, and he slanted it again. And I just remember my personality just going shrinking because all of a sudden it was like, I'm not good enough. I started believing what he was saying. I wasn't worthy of the salary. I wasn't good enough at my job. I wasn't a good English writer. I couldn't write bids. Um, and I remember just saying, you know, enough is enough. I'm leaving the job. And I left the job, you know, I felt okay. I left the job and I was like, I'm going to go and get another job. Found another amazing job and I went in as a project administrator, worked my way up to a project manager, then got to a project director. And I remember we started recruiting consultants and we got a project manager from Capgemini. This guy ripped me apart. On a day-to-day basis, he would come in and say, you're not deserving of your salary. You don't deserve to be the project director. Didn't want to be managed by a woman. Didn't like the fact that I knew what I knew without actually obtaining, you know, the Prince 2 qualification, which we needed for project management. So I went straight to, you know, like the founder of the organization, started talking in his ear. And, you know, the founder came to me and said, oh, I think you need to do your Prince 2. So I started jumping through hoops to prove myself. And while I was jumping through hoops, my soul started to crumble again because I was questioning everything I was doing. Like it got to a point if I was 5 minutes late getting into work, he would be standing at the door, this project manager, like, what sort of example he's setting? I'm like, well, you know the public underground. We can't do anything about that. But it was like every day I was in this rat race where I was waking up, panicking, going to work, panicking, thinking, am I going to get there? Like my whole day was starting so bad, and I didn't actually acknowledge what it was doing to me until I started getting eczema all over my body. And this eczema was just getting worse and worse and worse. And when it started traveling up to my neck, I remember I was in the office and I had to go to the hospital because it was so irritating and I was getting red and, you know, red and with the soreness of it. And I went to the hospital when they, you know, they did biopsies and they said it potentially could be lupus. And I remember coming home and just thinking, what is this all about? And I really sat with my sister and I spoke, and she was like, you know what's going on, right? This is complete burnout. This is complete imposter syndrome because you are jumping through these hoops of these guys and you're doubting yourself so much. And it doesn't matter what I did at this point now, there was nothing I could do to redeem myself because my body had shut down because I didn't listen. And because there was already trauma in my body from the previous jobs where I'd been told that this kind of level of negativity just came and sat on top of that layer of negativity. And all of a sudden we've got this whole tub of negativity inside of me that was just seeping out through the eczema. Um, I remember the founder saying to me, if you want this job, you're going to have to write a whole presentation, you know, saying why you deserve your salary. And that for me was the ultimate blow because I'd worked for this guy for 2 years, this founder, and for him to then come to me and say, actually, now you need to present yourself. You need to stand up and validate why you need this job. I remember I spent about 4 solid days. This is before the chat GPT and all of that. And, really making sure it was an all singing and all dancing presentation. And I stood up and my last sentence was, now after declaring the validations for this job for me, I actually want to say, I'm done. I'm done. Because the fact that you're making me have to prove myself means that you don't see the value in me, even though you've employed me, even though you've promoted me over the last 2 years. You've now deducted all that value from me just because somebody else has come and I don't respect you anymore. And I don't actually want to work for you anymore. So I'm walking away from the project. But before I do, you need to give me X amount of money. Otherwise, I will do you for constructive dis. I found the power. And the reason I found the power was because I had a sister who was so spiritual and was guiding me from a place of get out of ego and get into your power. And I started doing yoga with her and I started doing breath work with her, and it was really helping me. We were doing pranayama and it was really helping me. And she also teaches a Kriya, which is phenomenal. And it was empowering me day by day. And so that day when I did that presentation and I came out, I was just, I could breathe. I could genuinely breathe, but I knew that I had battered myself for the last like 6 months. And I had to get out. And I know a lot of women go through this situation where, men do too, because there's been a real study on it recently. And we all, in our own way, go through imposter syndrome. And it's just not recognized, it's not discussed enough. It's just us all going into work, putting on a mask, trying to be something that we want people to see us, to appreciate us, and yet it just doesn't happen.
Wow, you know what? You've just described imposter syndrome to a T. It's from lived experience and it sounds so familiar.
Mm.
Thank you. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously what you're talking about there is there's a lot of issues with the nervous system. And I know that something that you speak about is the fact that our breath and our fascia hold emotional pain as well. So what kind of work do you do now to actually begin to release that?
So, after that whole situation, I took myself to a detox center and I
Mm.
had to replenish my whole body. And I had a lot of heat in my body. And so sometimes when we've got anger and anxiety, our body doesn't know how to process it. So we get heat. The breath really helps us to reduce the heat in our body. It reduces the cortisol in our body as well. And so now what I do is every morning I do a 10-minute breath work for myself. So it's not as intense as the three-part conscious connected breath work because that's something you should do maybe twice a month maximum. Um, but on a daily basis, is I really connect to my breath. And in those moments when I'm sitting there and I'm focusing on my breath, I'm watching it go around my whole body. I'm watching it break down the fascia. I'm watching it like penetrate and rejuvenate my nervous system to calm down my nervous system because there's space for the nervous system to kind of move and to relax.
Okay, that's fantastic. And that's doable as well. So yeah.
Really doable. I mean, one of the things I do in my workshops, which, yeah, I'd love for everyone to join. They're online and they're also in person. But we did a workshop yesterday, and I always start off my sessions, and I encourage everybody to do this on a daily basis. Is when you're making a cup of tea, literally put the kettle on and shake. Just kind of shake your body, just kind of move the energy, move everything that's just been stagnant. And you just, so we go to bed and sometimes we go to bed and we have nightmares or we have stress that we've taken over from the day. You go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, that's still in your body. Like, and you don't want to start the new day with all of that still inside of you. You really need to kind of shake it out, like relax, get the hips moving, get the shoulders moving, and once you start doing that, you'll feel your energy flowing. You'll feel your blood flowing. You'll feel like, all right, yeah, you know what? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to kind of, I feel looser, basically, is that's what we want to do. We want to make our bodies feel looser in the morning. We want to allow the breath to truly flow. So that would be a morning practice that I say to everybody, you can do. We all wait for the kettle to boil. You don't, a lot of people say, I don't have time. You could do that when you could do that when you're brushing your teeth, you know, it's just making that commitment to yourself to say that I want to shake.
God, we all have time as well, when
You'll
people
do. You'll do.
we do. We do. And so, what is a shamanic body work and how do you integrate all of that into your sessions?
So it's really interesting. I I was blessed with healing hands about 10 years ago. So at the time, Pam was studying with a master, Chinese famous master who did acupuncture, who had healing capacities. And he came to India, and I was in India at the time. And so I traveled and I did all of his, this was my corporate days. I was doing all his logistic stuff for him. And so at the end, he blessed me with healing hands. And it's a bit like Reiki, like when you have healing hands, you're able to kind of really generate your own heat and you draw down. I'm used as a channel, as a vessel to pass down the healing to the people I am facilitating for. But I didn't really do a lot with it, you know. So I'd done my Reiki level 1, level 2, I got healing blessed hands, but I still felt like an imposter in regards to I hadn't done the yoga teacher training course. I wasn't really spiritual. I was still drinking, I was smoking, and I was like, oh. I don't want to be an imposter in the spiritual world now either, you know. I want to just I don't know what I want to do with this, but I didn't do a lot. And then after COVID, I went to Bali. And when I was in Bali, I just flew deep into my spiritual practice. And I got initiated by a shaman. And he taught me all of the body points, all the acupuncture points in our body. We're able to combine my healing hands and then pressure points to really heal the body. And when we do an in-person session, I will walk around your body, I'll witness you breathing, and I'll be able to kind of push down on certain points where the energy gets blocked. So some people, when you're breathing and you do the two-part in like into the stomach, into the chest, it needs to go to the collarbone, and some people can't get the breath to travel up as far because there's so much blockage around our heart, around our chest. So I will come in and I'll be able to really push these points that will force the energy to flow. And so the shamanic healing allows me to kind of do that, to clear the energy and to move it.
Amazing. Thank you for explaining that. And so, is it like is it plant medicine as well that you do?
I don't use plant medicine in my practices, no. I provide lotus tea, blue lotus tea, which is really beautiful. I mean, if we drink a lot of it, then it is quite psychedelic, but we don't have that much in our sessions. But it taps into your nervous system too. It talks to your mind and tells your mind to kind of stop with the monkey mind, just to kind of relax.
Okay.
And then it allows the breath work to really take force.
Wow,
Because we
lotus.
do sit in our mind a lot, you know, most of us do.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, and I suppose that's what a lot of people struggle with is to actually quieten the monkey mind, when they're trying to meditate. And that's one of the main objections that I always hear is, oh my God, I can't meditate. So,
Yeah, I think the thing with meditation is, and you know, it's taken me a long time to master it. The first time I actually truly went into meditation, I was in an ashram and I remember we did a bit of pranayama first. Pranayama is beautiful to really calm yourself down because when you're focusing on the breath pattern, you stop thinking about what we're going to have for dinner tonight, what am I going to wear later today? You because you're driving the focus to the breath.
mm,
And so we always encourage pranayama to begin, to
okay.
settle the mind before you go into meditation. And
um,
then when I was in the ashram, they played this drum music, and it was just profound because I allowed the drums to dictate my thoughts. I allowed my breath to be sync to the drums. And then all of a sudden, I kind of fell deep into this meditation. And I remember coming out, my eyes were glazed. I had the biggest smile on my face, and I just looked at like the teacher, and I'm like, whoa, that was insane. You know, like that was real meditation. And it's very hard to get that.
mm,
So if you don't achieve that, that's okay. Like on a daily practice when I meditate, just having silence, just having the brain just stop. And the thoughts do come in, but I see them and then I let them go.
yeah.
I see them and I let them go. I don't allow the mind to then start making a story out of it.
That's so,
Allow it to come and then allow it to go. And I remember Pam used to always say to me, just imagine a blank, like a black screen. So every time something comes in, just let it go and then imagine it to be just a black TV screen, like a blank TV screen. And that's where we just want to keep. And then if you kind of direct your focus to, you kind of look up and back, which is kind of your third eye, you start to get this natural light pouring into your head. And that just feels really beautiful. So it's where you direct your thoughts in meditation.
yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess that would be a nice little task for people to try is, when they are in meditation, then to just not allow the thoughts to take over and just thank them and let them go. Yeah,
Basically,
definitely.
yeah. See them, don't fight them. Like resistance is also
Mhm.
a reaction from the body. So be witness to what your mind is showing you, but don't allow the story to create. That's really, really important. And one practice that people can do is just, the box breath, which is breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And again, because you're focusing on breathing in and holding for 4,
Yeah.
then you breathe out for 4. You're focusing on the count. So any other thoughts actually don't have a chance to come in because you're focusing on the 1, 2, 3, 4. And that within itself is so calming. It's so good for your nervous system because you're coming out of this monkey mind and you're just connecting to your body.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And so many high achieving women deal with anxiety, perfectionism, or self-sabotage as a consequence of the imposter syndrome that you spoke about already. So, what do you think are some of the somatic signs that they may be ignoring?
Okay, some of us, with regards to the symptoms, and I'll just talk personally, is I was becoming quite addicted to substances that would allow me to drop out of how my body was feeling. And I would, somatically, I would start not eating properly. My body would then start to lose weight and then gain weight, and my body was stiff. My body had like, I would get what's trapped nerves in my lower back. That's our body shutting down. That's our body talking to us when we're taking substances and not being conscious of what we're feeling and thinking. The damage that we're doing to our own body is intense
Yeah.
because we don't prioritize our health anymore. We're prioritizing how do I numb out these feelings that I have and what is accessible and what is acceptable in the day to day. And you see, we go to the bars and we drink 1 glass, 2 glass. Actually, let's just have a bottle. And the government's there saying, yeah, happy hour and da, encouraging us to do this. Because what happens is we have a drink and in that moment we feel great and our body feels great and we're free and we're happy. You come home, you go to sleep, your body just takes all that alcohol, all of the substances and just stiffens you up. And you wake up in the morning and you'll feel groggy and you'll have that head fog and you'll feel actually more crap than you did the day before.
Yeah.
And the reason is because your energy isn't flowing. Your body is not receiving the CO2 that it needs through your breath because you breathe less deeply. You're not penetrating your energy centers. And so you kind of wake up and you're functioning from a kind of depleted version of yourself.
Mm,
And then we get through the day, and that day again has been filled with narcissists, criticism, self-doubt.
mm.
And what do? We finish work and we go and reach for the first glass of wine again. And
Yeah.
it's just this vicious, vicious circle. So when your body starts telling you, like if your body is hurting or you've got trapped nerves or there's stiffness in the shoulder, or that's your body talking to you. That's your body telling you that there is something wrong and that you need to really look at what it is that's not serving you.
Mm. Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of your workshops and retreats that you do now is for majority of these women.
Definitely. But it's not, I say it's not just women, it's men too. And actually, men need it more because men have this kind of also another side of them that they say, I'm tough, I'm okay. I don't, they don't want to tap into their emotions. Women, we still tap into our emotions. We still have a breakdown. We still cry, and that's a beautiful release, but it's surface crying. You're not tapping into the real, like, what's underneath that? What's underneath it even more? Let's get there. Let's figure out where.
Mm,
I'm not, for instance, for me, I felt like I wasn't good enough at work because I had these people saying it to me. But where did it really originate from? I can't be that impacted just by these, but just by a few people saying it to me. Has
mm,
it been something that's historical in my life? Like, where did it come from?
mm,
And let's go deeper and deeper. And the breath allows you to go back to that very, very, very first point when you were made to feel not good enough. Because
mm,
once you see it, then as the older, wiser self, you actually look at it and be like, nah, that's not what it meant.
mm.
It's just how we reacted to it in that moment. But now with wiser eyes, maturity, we're able to look at it and say, okay, that could be the reason why it happened, but I now understand that there's also another
Yeah,
answer to it.
yeah,
Men don't do that. Men don't really, I mean, in Bali, of course, the men everywhere in Bali were spiritual. They were tapping into their emotions. They wanted to heal.
wow,
But in the UK, I feel like even the women are masculine because this is how we have to be. We've
yeah,
got to survive here. We've got to be in this kind of work, 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 make money mode. Let's try and keep our family afloat mode. It's really, really hard.
it's hard, yeah. A lot of
And I
pressure.
so much pressure. And I think if the reason I'm back here in the UK, the reason I'm pushing the breath work is because I want to help people let go of the criticism, the doubt, the tension in their bodies, and really get back to that place of home within themselves where they see their worth. They recognize that they are doing the best that they can do and they're kind to themselves. And they are the ones that is cheerleading them,
Yeah.
you know? We don't need to seek it from outside. If we're our own cheerleader, then it doesn't really matter what anyone else is saying to us. We've got our own backs.
Yeah, and it's a lot, isn't it? I feel like that empowerment, it's a lot for people to have instilled into them, and that's where breath work comes in, right? Mm. So what shifts do you see when people are given that safe space to breathe and to feel and to release?
I mean, so I did a workshop yesterday and it was really beautiful. What I witnessed was there was a lady who'd been 3 times and she had, another beautiful experience. But she felt emotions and she wasn't sure what they were. And she was like, do I actually even need to know? And I went, no. And she
Mm,
went, I don't think I do. I
good.
just know they were there and I just know they wanted to come out. And so I allowed it to. I felt it and I allowed it. I went deeper and deeper and just said, whatever you are, it's time to go. And then on the other spectrum, I had a woman who had never done it before lying there. And when she started doing the breath work and started going into her own journey, she saw her mother who passed away. She saw her father. She felt their energy around them. Um, and then she came out and she just was like, I feel so much lighter.
Mm,
There was grief inside of my body for the loss of my mum, which I kind of really wasn't allowing myself to feel.
mm,
And I recognize that I need to.
yeah,
And so, it just really, each session, each person has such a different experience.
yeah.
And I can't dictate to anybody what it's going to be. It's just going to be whatever your body wants it to be.
That's it's all about just surrendering to it and just
Yeah.
allow whatever needs to come up, come up. Yeah.
Yeah, no judgment. This is the thing. It's a space where you're not being judged, you're just being held. I'm there to hold you. I'm there to support you. I'm there to guide you and to let you know it's okay to express whatever emotion wants to come out, to come out. Like I have people laughing. Most of the time, people are crying, and it's beautiful. And it's beautiful because it's all welcome.
Yeah, can you imagine, especially when there's deep-rooted trauma involved as well? Then, I mean, what would be your advice to people who, may not have dealt with their trauma before?
I think if we try a breathwork session and something comes up for you and you know you have this like a whole emotion coming out of you, and then we sit down and we'll talk and you share like this is what I've just felt or this is what's coming up. It would be us to then work together afterwards to kind of look at where has this come from? Shall we go deeper? Do you want to explore that in a different way? Like, shall we do tapping? Shall we do, there are other modalities that really support what we see in breath work. And so it's about exploring those different modalities. And that's why I created Rebirth last year with my sister because we wanted to provide a service of different modalities that have helped us when we're something's come up and the breath is yeah, it's got this, it's got it here. Now how do we heal that? How do we process that? How do we get it out of our psyche?
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, what would be your advice to somebody right now who may feel disconnected and stuck but doesn't know where to begin?
The first thing I would truly say to you is we've all been there. We've all been there and it's okay. The fact that you're feeling this and you're there's a feeling of need of change and awareness means that you're already taking that first step. What I would really suggest is journaling. Journaling is like one of the most powerful things that you can do. And it's like people sometimes say, I don't know what to write. The
Mm.
whole part about journaling is you shouldn't know what to write. It's about putting pen to paper and just allowing the pen to flow. And sorry, my cat.
Thank you.
um, sometimes, you'll start writing. And if you get really, really stuck, I would say to you, look at the things that you're grateful for. Now, in a world that we're living in today, we've got so much to be grateful for.
We
The
have.
fact that we have a roof over our head, the fact that we have water in our taps, the fact that we have the possibility of walking down to a supermarket and of getting whatever we need. Those are all things that we need to be grateful for. Those are, our health, even the rubbish weather. Let's be grateful for it. And if you start your day thinking and journaling things that even list 10 things that you're grateful for, you'll change the frequency of how you start your day. It will actually, because you're looking from your rose tinted glasses. Like I always say, we have a choice. Is our glass half full? Is our glass half empty? Like, let's start with a glass that's half full and let's keep adding to it. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, it's easy for you to say, no, no, no. Been there. I have genuinely been there when the world has been falling at my feet, crumbling around me, and I don't even want to carry on anymore because I don't see the reason. I don't have, what's the purpose? I had no purpose. The only thing that was bringing me back to a place where I was able to get up and get out of bed was like, but come on, let me think about all the things that I have got. And if I think about all those things that I have got and start changing that, turn the frequency button to the other way, you start showing up in the world differently. You start attracting more abundance because you're grateful. But when we come from a place of, I said it to my friend the other day, we were both sat there and we were both like, oh God, I'm tired. And I went, hold on, no, 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 no. Let's rephrase that. It's not that I'm tired, I feel tired. Because if we say I'm tired, you're going to be tired all the time. But if you acknowledge that you're just feeling tired, it's a different message. It's a different conversation that you're putting out to the universe. And just remember, like people at the moment are all big on this manifestation, manifestation. It works for sure. You want this, you want this. You ask the universe for it. But when we're also saying, I feel like shit or I'm shit and the day's rubbish and da na 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 na, we're actually manifesting that into our lives as well. Because we're saying the day's rubbish. I don't have any money. You're telling the universe, I don't have any money. So the universe is not going to give you any money because you keep saying, I don't have any money. So let's be careful around the language that we use. It's really, really important that we are more conscious about how we speak, especially to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Fantastic advice because, yeah, if you're coming from a place of scarcity and lack, then the universe is going to deliver you just that. So, yeah. So let's try and think more abundantly, and let's, if we want more money, just act like you've got money already.
You do, I mean, what could you do? Like, this is the thing, like, you want more money. Like, I want more clients for my business, for instance. Now, if I just sat every day and just said, oh, I manifest more clients, it's not going to happen. Like, you've got to also meet the universe, like, show the universe that you're prepared to work for that.
Yeah.
So, it's about like making a decision and saying, this is what I want, but what am I going to do to meet that? How am I going to show the universe that I'm really serious that I want that? Because
Mm.
if I'm just going to sit back and chill and just expect it all to flow into me,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. But
Happen.
if I'm actively trying, like with the podcast, trying to get my business out there, trying to give awareness to people that here's a modality that can really help and really change you, then I'm showing the universe I'm serious about this.
Mm.
And the universe will be like, okay, you're serious? Come on, then I'll give you something to be serious for. Thank you. So the
Brilliant.
universe will keep giving, keep giving. But we have to show up for ourselves.
Yeah. And belief, that's huge as well. You got to believe it. You got to believe that you deserve it. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I know, as you know, like I've been single for many years, right? And I've always wanted a partner. I've always wanted to get married. And I remember last year when I was in Bali, I thought, wow, I finally get it.
Oh.
Because I finally was so at peace and I finally really loved myself
Mm.
that now I was vibrating from a different place.
Mm.
And I'm so much more like I know my man's there because I'm ready for it. I trust it. I have faith in it. I acknowledge that I love myself enough that I'm showing someone that this is how I want to be loved.
Mm.
And I want to be loved in a way that is I'm respected,
Yeah.
I am valued, um, I want to be cared for. And these are all the things I'm now doing for myself
Yeah.
in abundance.
Mm.
So I know now that I wasn't ready for it. I said I was, but I
Crazy.
was looking for someone to come and save me rather than for someone to come and compliment me.
Yeah.
And I want someone to compliment me completely. I know that, you know what, I would love to meet somebody now and he's coming for sure. But if I didn't, it's my world is still going. I'm still smiling every day. I'm still really happy. I'm still achieving my dreams. And that's where we have to be with anything that we manifest. Comfortable in your life that you know that this is just going to be an additional bonus for me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the be all and end all.
Amazing. Amazing. Again, fantastic advice to people who are looking for their life partner. I love that. Yeah.
Find the love within yourself.
Mm.
Um, and I have a beautiful thing that somebody taught me in Bali again was every morning when you're brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
look at yourself. I mean, really look at yourself, look at your eyes, and you say to yourself, I love you and appreciate you. I love and accept you.
Yeah.
And then I love and admire you because you have to have those three things for yourself.
Mm.
And if you could do that for 31 days, my God, what a difference.
Wow.
And it's, I'd encourage everyone to try it 31 days. Journal, gratitude, write 10 things down. When you're brushing your teeth, the three, I love and accept, I love and admire, I love and appreciate. And then when you're making your tea, have a little shake. And honestly, it will make such a huge impact on your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine because again, that's how long it takes anyway to build any habit. So yeah.
To really establish a habit for it to be good is 40 days, what they say in like the Indian religious spiritual thing. I would say even if you could do like, people will say that sounds really easy. It took me about 2 years before I could master doing that every day. There are some days you don't want to look in the mirror and say, I love and appreciate you, because
Yeah,
it's not true. But then you have to break that and go in deep and say, actually, I do.
yeah,
I
exactly.
do. And the beautiful thing about the breath work is it will allow you to really mean that.
Yeah, yeah. This is it. That's the thing about affirmations as well. It's about just yeah, you have to believe it. Otherwise, they're just words, aren't they? It's just noise. So the breath work will allow you to believe that because you'll go within, and it's not everything that we do on a daily basis because we're just so busy doing that we don't have much time to be. So yeah. So let's all get those breathwork sessions in. So tell us about your work, where my listeners can find you, work with you, and what you offer.
Hey, so I am currently in the process of creating a fortnightly online workshop.
Yeah.
I work with a lady in Bali. She's an amazing energy healer as well. In Bali, they call it Kundalini activation, but it's not really. It's what we're doing is working with the energy centers, the chakras, and she's moving the energy, she's moving the flow, and she does it like remotely, which is phenomenal. So while we're doing the breath work, she's kind of doing the healing, and I'm guiding you, and she's healing you, and we come together, and we have this 2 hour beautiful workshop that we did a few months ago, and it was just profound. And so we have decided that we want to do fortnightly ones, which will be online. I'm going to have this all in my website, which will have the dates. And then we're doing retreats, which is going to be good. I'm doing a retreat in Bali, not Bali, in Dubai in September. Only it's a weekend. We're trying to show people that we don't want to impose too much on your lives, but if you're anywhere in Dubai, it's going to be a beautiful little, day, just a whole day, and then the option to sleep over in this beautiful place. And then the next morning we'll do another breath work just to kind of send you on your way. So, yeah, I can be found in London. I'm hosting a beautiful full moon ceremony, actually, a full moon one on the 9th of August, which is going to be really beautiful. So we're going to bring in the shamanic work, the full moon, like intention setting, the breath work. But I would direct everybody to my website. Everything's going to be listed there, or my Instagram, Rebirth official. And I will be putting up posts just informing of the workshops. But, I would also say for people that have wanting to go deep into this, like I would really recommend we did a one-to-one, and it's in
Profound.
the space of your own kind of journey together, you're able to really go deeper. And if you're looking to do one-to-one sessions, like let's do a package, like as we mentioned, like we're going to crack the shell. Let's have a few sessions where we can go deep and go in and really get you to a point where you're really showing up for yourself.
Mm.
You're really able to start creating boundaries, healthy habits, good, clean mindset that allows you to really show up every day as your true, authentic self.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And so it's your Instagram page that they can connect with you on, and you got your LinkedIn and your Facebook as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and I have a website, so all of my information, more details around the breath work. We do a spiritual glow up program, which is an online immersive program for 7 weeks. So me and Pam will guide you through the different modalities that I kind of briefly touched upon earlier, which just is having one-to-one classes once a week, and an online learning webinar,
Brilliant.
and just really giving you the tools for those people who genuinely like are like, "Yeah, I'm ready now.
Yeah.
I want to kind of arm myself with this. I want to glow from within and I want to glow from outside." Then this program is for you. That's why we called it the Spiritual Glow Up Program.
Love that. Amazing. And I will be adding the links into the show notes for this episode. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Angie. I've absolutely loved our talk, and I just think your work is so admirable. And I really enjoyed our breathwork session, and I look forward to doing more sessions with you.
Hey, yeah, I can't wait, and again, this is for anyone who's never tried breath work. I know a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I've done pranayama." We had
Mm.
this discussion with the man online. Uh, Pranayama is beautiful. Pranayama is like a controlled breath. This is three-part conscious connected breath work where we're tapping in. We're going deep. We're wanting you to feel. We're wanting you to release. We're wanting you to like elevate yourself. So, get in touch. I would love to answer any questions. I offer a half an hour free chemistry call no obligation. If you want to just have like any questions that people want to ask, you can book that through my Instagram page as well. Jump on, we'll have a call and we can have a chat and see how we can kind of work together.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. And so that's all we have time for today. And yeah, I look forward to following you and keeping up to date with all your events as well.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. Really appreciate that.
Beautiful. Thank you. So, my listeners, if you have any questions about this show, please do reach out to myself or Angie. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, that's all we have time for today. Until the next episode, stay blessed, my friends.